Welcome to the beautiful island of Cozumel. It's located off the eastern coast of Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula and is a 45-minute ferry ride from Playa del Carmen. It's known for its beautiful beaches, snorkeling and scuba diving on the coral reef of the western shore. It's also a popular spot for cruise ships in the Caribbean. However, since the start of the pandemic, the island hasn't been taking in any cruise ships, and so it's less crowded and packed than usual. So I decided to head there and check it out for the weekend. Most people head to Cozumel for a quick day trip or just to snorkel or scuba dive, but I decided to explore and hit up some spots all across the island. Join me and let's discover Cozumel together. Good morning from Playa Del Carmen. I'm on my way to Cozumel, just waiting to board the ferry. The line is long, but hopefully I'll board in 10 minutes. As you can see, the ferry is packed. There's a huge line of people waiting to go to Cozumel, and it's a Saturday morning. Go ahead, thank you. Good idea. So arrived 15 minutes before the ferry was leaving, and there was a huge line. And so I bought a ticket from one of the vendors on the side, and it cost $250. It was one of the unofficial vendors, so it wasn't the official ferry that was selling the ticket. I bought it from one of the vendors, and at first I was nervous about buying it from one of the street vendors, but it ended up working out fine, and I was in within 10 minutes. So I got to skip the line and I went straight in. Ferry packed, filled to the brim. No space for social distancing or anything like that. So, but everyone is wearing their masks and following protocol, so that's good at least. And you also get hand sanitizer before you board. There are two ferry companies that run between Playa and Cozumel: Wingjet and Ultramar, and they alternate days. So I suggest looking up their schedules online on their Facebook pages before going, so that you get the most up-to-date times. It also costs 250 pesos one way for an official ticket. But if you end up being like me and arrive close to departure time and don't want to risk missing your ferry or waiting in a long line, then you can also buy it for 350 pesos from the hawkers who approach you by the ferry entrance. All in all, it was a smooth 45-minute trip, and there was even live music to keep us entertained. Just got off the ferry, and now I'm going to walk to my Airbnb, which is about a 25-minute walk from the ferry. As soon as you get off the ferry, there are people, hawkers, trying to sell you some things. You want a cigar, buddy? Because cruise ships aren't running to Cozumel right now, unfortunately that means less tourists and less business for the people that rely on tourism.
Ready for get drunk?
Not yet, it's too early. I'll come later. Do you have happy hour?
Yes, sir. All day long. Happy hour.
For how much?
2 beers for $3.
2 beers for
Or
$3?
give me 2 margaritas for $8.
2 margaritas for $8?
Yeah, but before you leave, just take a look at my shop. 50% discount.
Okay, I'll come back. I'll come back. One of the things that struck me about Cozumel is how colorful it is. I love the beautiful painted buildings, and all the street art. The other thing that struck me about being in the town center is that even though the ferry was packed, the town itself seemed pretty empty, especially for a Saturday morning. So after dropping off my stuff at the Airbnb and walking around town a bit more, I hit up the Thirsty Cougar for lunch and drinks. Now don't let the name fool you. It's actually a great place to sit close to the Malecon, have food and drinks, people watch, and listen to live music.
Downtown, I did have that feeling much faster, I think, because I was dealing with the people every day.
After lunch, I walked along the Malecon, which I definitely recommend doing. And then I went to pick up my scooter rental for the next 24 hours. When you get off the ferry in Cozumel, you find several scooter rental companies offering their services. Some people were quoting prices between 400 to 500 pesos for 24 hours. But you should know by now that I love to negotiate. So I found someone who offered me a scooter for 24 hours for 300 pesos. And so after doing an inspection of the scooter and taking a video of it, I paid the 300 pesos plus a 1,000 peso deposit, then zipped off on the Malecon. I headed to La Monina Restaurante and Beach Club. It's a perfect place to have a drink while watching the sunset. Then I ended the night with some tacos at Guisados, a family-run place with friendly and fast service, great decor, and amazing tacos with handmade dog corn tortillas. I especially loved trying their tacos with mole on it, and sprinkled with a bit of chocolate, which was an interesting combo. I started off the next day with breakfast at Amparo's, another great place with great decor. They have both American and local cuisine, and vegan and gluten-free options. I tried the vegan chilaquiles, which hit the spot. Then I hit the road to explore the eastern side of the island. So my first stop is Playa Palancar, and it's about a 15-minute drive from the center of Cozumel town. So let's go check it out. Playa Palancar has a beautiful beach with clear water and a restaurant with beach chairs. However, I didn't go in the water because it was very windy that day, and so the water was rough. So after checking it out, I headed to my next spot. I must say, I enjoyed riding my rental scooter on the highway. I went to a lot of cars, and I really enjoyed the freedom of being out on the open road with the beautiful view of the ocean waves lapping against the shore. My next stop was my favorite one on the east side of the island, and that was Rasta. I didn't expect to find a place like this in Cozumel. As you can tell from the name, the bar is Rasta inspired, and in addition to the bright Jamaican colors and paintings of Bob Marley, they also play reggae music all day. It's a perfect place to kick back, enjoy a beer, and soak up the amazing vibes. And then literally a minute or two drive down the road is Bar Miami, another great place to chill by the water. It's really small, so if you come when they are busy, then it's hard to find a place to sit. And they say they have the best mojito ever, so I was keen to try one. And my verdict? Drum roll please. I wasn't impressed. It had way too much sugar. In general, to be honest, I find the mixed drinks and cocktails in Quintana Roo to be either too sweet or watered down. In spite of the disappointing mojito, Bar Miami is still a great place to just chill and laze the afternoon away in a hammock. But don't stay too long, there's more of the east side of the island to explore. The east side is known as the wild side of the island because the waters are rough, and so you can't swim too far. But the views alone are stunning, and most of the beaches don't have a lot of people. Many times I pulled up and stopped along the side of the highway to take pictures or just take in the views. There are also many viewpoints along the route, such as El Mirador and Mirador San Martin. The last stop I made along the route was at Coconuts Bar. The bar sits atop the edge of a cliff, and the walk up alone is an experience in itself as you read the hilarious signs that guide you up to the bar. What happens in Coconuts stays in Coconuts. The bar is wildly popular with expats and tourists. And they also play 80s rock music. And the views, like many places on the east side of the island, did not disappoint. And so after a day exploring the east side of the island, I finally made my way back to town and stopped at Pancho's backyard for a Beyond Vegan burger. I then returned my bike safe and sound and got my deposit back, and then explored more of town on foot. Before closing out the weekend with some mezcal and bacan. All in all, Cozumel has a lot to offer other than just scuba diving and snorkeling. It has great beaches, scenic views, and spots to hang out for food and drinks. And I definitely want to go back and explore more. And highly suggest going there for yourself for a couple of days to explore all the island has to offer.